everybody, and welcome back to the next round of the knockout stage from the Sanctuary League. My name is Mike. I'm joined by Highside.
Yo,
Today we have the matchup of Kanelbullens versus MonkeSports veterans. And if I'm informed correctly, they haven't played yet in regular season. Is that right?
yeah, it's a first time matchup. Um, Going into this, I think Monkey seem to be the definitive favorites, but I'm excited to hopefully see an upset from Kanelbullens today. What do you think?
We only faced the Monkeys in regular season, so I haven't played against Kanelbullens myself yet. But I think Monkeys looked not very consistent sometimes, but overall they are a pretty decent team. And I think especially the jungler Sergio Ramos, who was voted MVP for the regular season, he's a very, very good player. And I think
Right.
he will have a huge impact on this game as well.
I would have to agree. We also only faced Monkey Sports. We didn't get to play against Kanelbullens yet. I have to say, from what I saw from them, it's mostly their mid lane and top that have been quite impressive. So I'm looking forward to how they can hopefully take control of the game, or if Sergio Ramos can make the difference in jungle.
I think it's absolutely important that you don't give Sergio Ramos his prio picks in SNCL that have been the Gwen, the Nico, and lately he played some Ivan here as well. But honestly, if I have to choose, I would always give him Ivan because I played his Nico and it was very good. Honestly, he found way more impact on the map than I did, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, he just snowballed the lead.
No, he is very impressive on his carry, and he thrives from impacting the game through damage. I am excited to see though they have their mid laner. I think just came off of a fresh Valence League win in Div 1. So there's some high level material on that team. We do want to see them show up today though. From
Yeah, I
when
agree.
we played against them, yeah, it was a bit inconsistent as you said.
But what do you think? Who will take the win overall? Because
I
on my side, I'm still with Monkey Esports.
I think if I had to bet, if you had to put money down, the safe bet is for sure Monkey Esports, and I think that is where I would go as well. I I would at least want to see Kanelbullens take one game. I think this would be a fun 3 game series today. I think they have the chance to, and they have the quality and the players to, if they can show up. But overall, I think the general consensus is true. I think Monkey Esports is definitely in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, I would agree on that. I also hope for 3 games instead of just 2, just because it's more content, you know.
Of course, of course.
But in the end, my money will be on Monkey side, as I said. But maybe we get an upset here, like we've seen before in playoffs. If you count QTE, I think they were the underdogs against the Assassins.
Right,
And
right.
honestly, I don't know the odds for us to take down Invicta. I tried to not look into the community chats as much before the game.
Mm-hmm. I think so far most of the general consensus has been defied. I think most people have been betting on Assassin's Creed, and most people were on the side of Invicta. But so far, yeah, QT Infinity and you guys on SmackBack have been very impressive with what you showed up against the big teams. I think Kanelbullens definitely. It's not like so they have quite a good team. I think they have some individual talent. I think Beehive has been playing a really good split so far. If he can get the game going, if he can take control of the game, I think they have a not an unrealistic shot at even winning the series. But I do want to see some great team play because
Yeah,
that's the
I
one
mean,
thing I
in
feel like
the
that
end,
lacked in the last two series.
in the end, there is a reason why they are in the playoffs.
Exactly,
It's not because they just went lucky for the whole season. It's because they won their games. So anything is possible here.
for sure. When I watched, I don't know if you saw both of the series, Assassins and Greeds, when they lost and Invicta when they lost, both of them, it felt to me like the teams weren't playing together as well, even though they had the individual talent. So I'm looking forward to either team hopefully pulling off a similar win in their games. I want to see
I'm,
like united teams.
I'm sorry, you're talking about the playoffs
Yes,
matches.
the last two playoffs games.
Yes, in I saw the Assassins game and
Mm-hmm.
I played Invicta myself.
Of
So
course.
yes, yeah, I think both of them are pretty decent teams. But as you said, it's in the end it's a team game. So maybe Kanelbullens will surprise us.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if we're ready in draft yet, or I think we're still in lobby. Is there anything
Yeah,
we're expecting to see in draft?
yes, as I mentioned before, I think the Nico and the Gwen should be banned on the
Mm-hmm.
side of Kanelbullens. What do you think are the prior picks for them?
I, from what I've seen so far, they've been quite flexible with what they played. In their last series against Never Ending Int, they played 10 unique champions. And if I remember correctly, in the game before, I think they played against you guys. Oh wait, no, they didn't. That was different series. They played against Invicta, and they pulled out a not too impressive game one, but I was really excited on Talia game in game two. I feel like he performed, and Beehive, I'm mainly looking at. He also got Team of the Week in one of the weeks. Let me double check.
Yeah, I think you're right, but can check it very fast.
Yeah, in week two, exactly. In week two, he got Team of the Week also on the Talia. I think it's a decent champ on the current patch, and if that's something on his priority list, at least from what I've seen on the games,
Mm.
I would be looking forward.
And if you check the OPGG of Kanelbullens, there are many different champions and a nearly even amount of them. So when it comes to the games they've played on them,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a very flexible team, as you said, and yeah, very hard to scout, honestly. Maybe
I mean,
that's
we could see a Mel flex, maybe.
yeah,
It's the only
I
thing
can
I could think
definitely
of.
see that. Yeah.
Or if they decide to ban away Sergio Ramos's champs and they pick up the Ivern for their own, I think they definitely have some options going into game one.
Yeah, for sure. I think against Sergio Ramos, if you share a pick with him, blue side is probably maybe is it better for you? Because generally I think red side is a bit better at the moment because
Mm-hmm.
you get the counter pick. But if you can deny a champion he loves to play, maybe it's even better to just take blue side.
Well, we're about to go into draft, and Kanelbullens does start game one on blue side. So let's see what their opinion is on this. They're taking their time, but assuming we have a minute or two still.
Yeah, I think one of the teams isn't ready for draft yet, if I see correctly.
I think we're just waiting on MonkeSports jungler, the fabled Sergio Ramos, when he gets in. We can start off draft.
I just joined the lobby, so probably he's ready now, and we can draft. We can start the draft. Okay, or maybe I'm wrong. That's the possibility as well.
I mean, on the current patch, I'm not sure. Jungle is, at the moment, I feel like that after the nerfs to Neferi and Gwen, they're still very strong. But I feel like there's a lot of junglers that are not present in solo queue, and with buffs to like Ivern in the last patch, I think there's a lot of jungles they could possibly pick here on either side that you don't see in solo queue as much that will have a large impact. I think Ivern is one of them, and I wouldn't be so surprised to see a high prio on it in the series.
Yeah, I agree. And as you pointed out earlier, both sides play Ivan, so it will be a contested pick. So maybe we even see a ban of Ivan on the side of MonkeSports if they decide, as we talked about, Kanelbullens play a bunch of champions and they don't see a specific one to be banned out. Maybe you just say we take out the Ivan.
So draft has
Just
begun.
first ban is Smolder. It's a classic ban against Monkey Esports as well. I think they play a very
Not
good
a champion
Smolder.
you want to give over. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see the. Okay, the Melflex is gone already. I think it's a good ban.
For sure. But you really don't want to give that over, especially when enemy team is on blue side. You want to hold away as many flexes as possible.
Okay, and now we see the Diana ban. So in case Sergio Ramos will get a carry, at least one of them is open now.
Gwen is also gone.
Gwen is also gone. So I think we might see a Nico here. I don't think Kanelbullens play her themselves. But maybe they just decided to trade off the Ivan for the Nico.
I think Nico would not be a great pick into Ivern, so I see if they want to pick it, I can understand why they would leave it open.
Yeah, for sure. But
yeah,
I think you have to first pick Ivan then. And yes, they do.
it is first picked, yeah.
Because if you don't pick Ivan here, Sergio Ramos will probably just take the pick away from you. And
Most likely.
if you don't play Nico yourself, you just gave up a free pick. But yeah, so far it's the draft we predicted. There were two junglers banned from Sergio Ramos plus the Smolder. On the side of Monkey Esports, we see an Ezreal ban. And I honestly
They
can't
might not have
say
been fully prepared. They do lock in the Nico. Did seem to take their time with it though.
Yeah, it's obviously a high prio pick. Can you say something about the Jhin?
I personally really like Jhin with the Nico. Nico is this aggressive jungle. I play it a lot myself, where you want to go in really deep, and most ADCs really struggle to follow up on that. And Jhin is like this ideal champ to play with a lot of dive and range, where he just opens up his Ws or his ultimate and can follow up from a safe distance. We do see the Twitch hovered from Kanelbullens, and it's locked in fact.
I mean, I agree on the Jhin, but I don't like the Twitch as an answer so far. Because you do struggle against Nico Jhin, don't you?
It depends. I've seen some impressive Twitch players. My main worry with the Twitch here is Twitch likes to play with enchanters. And when you lock in an Ivan, you really need a melee support. So the Nautilus pick does come through. I'm more so worried about the laning phase for Twitch rather than the mid game.
Yeah.
He will spend most of his time invisible. So Thresh is their answer to Nautilus.
So both teams decided to pick their solo laners in the second rotation. Well, in that case, I think MonkeSports will pick mid lane first and get the counter pick on top lane.
Have you played the matchup before?
Which one?
The AD.
No. I'm a jungler. I don't know
Right.
anything about ADC
Wait.
matchups, to be honest.
Wait. My bad. Wait. So, but do you play Ivern or Nico in jungle at all?
I've played Ivern a few times, but for me, it's a very good champion.
Mm-hmm.
If you give him the right draft, where the Twitch is good, but I
Right.
don't like Nautilus for the laning, as you pointed out.
I want to say we do see the Viego ban coming through from Kanelbullens. I don't think it seems like they're not expecting the Nico to go jungle here.
In my opinion, Nico is never a flex pick in this lobby.
I mean, yeah, if you look at the name tags, for sure. I think in general it can go mid or support, but Sergio Ramos, it's a classic pick of his, so I wouldn't expect it to go anywhere else.
Yeah, and I don't think he would give it away.
Yeah.
I think if he has the chance to play his champ, he will go for it. So maybe there was some issues with the preparation for this. Okay,
Well, we do see the Yone
like
locked in.
Yone because it's good with Nico. You have the AP
Right.
in the jungle. Plus, it's at this point it's a flex pick for mid and top.
Yeah, I think Yone is a mega pick. I agree. The flex is insane, and you really like those melee mid laners with the Nico. When she goes in, she likes to have someone to follow up on that.
Yeah, exactly. And on red 4, you are on the weak spot, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because you can get counterpicked, and with the Yone, if they decide to pick 2 Yone counters, I don't think it will work out very well because in on I think he's okay. I don't think he's winning, or he won't get much kill pressure, but it's an okay matchup. And if you pick a Yone counter in mid lane now, you will just get countered yourself.
We do see the Orianna coming through. I don't know about you, but I'm a bit worried for Kanelbullens stack if they end up with a lack of damage in the mid game.
I see that. I think it's fine if you are able to give gold to your Twitch. Because
Fiora is locked in for the R5 on MonkeSports.
okay, so we get the Yone mid lane against Orianna, which is fine, I guess. And Fiora
Right.
should be winning against Ornn, right?
Right. This is a incredibly hard matchup for the Ornn. This is going to be a massive bully lane on the Fiora side. If you had to choose, like, we're both junglers, right? Which draft would you prefer to play as a jungler?
As a jungler, I would prefer Monkey's draft, to be honest, because you have a winning top. You don't have to worry about that. Your bot lane has a great gank setup with Thresh and Jhin. Plus, you are Nico. You can just walk on lane. If the enemy don't count the minions, he will get problems.
Yeah.
But I think the draft of Kanelbullens is playable if you survive long enough to give your Twitch the Ornn items, plus to give him the gold he needs to actually make deal damage. You don't have
Right.
real frontline on the side of MonkeSports, but if you fall behind, they will just snowball.
I mean, for sure, Kanelbullens stock scaled insane here. Gold will take them a long, long way. I think now that the draft is finished, Orianna is not the worst pick, as the enemy team is not very tanky. But still, once they get on that Twitch, and if of course they manage to kill him on MonkeSports side, I'm very worried for their damage because it's a Nautilus, Ornn, and Orianna. And Orianna really only works with Burst. So if they play the early to mid game well, where they're not in a hard losing position, I think Kanelbullens can for sure take game 1 here. But with a winning top and Fiora matchup is very rough. I would definitely give it to MonkeSports here in terms of draft.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. I think it's very hard to play draft for Kanelbullens. But as you said, if they manage to play it out, it's yeah, you can win this game, but it will be rough.
What do you think of the bot lane matchup? It's Twitch Jin against Thresh, Twitch against Jin and Thresh against Nort. I'm not too familiar with the AD matchups, but I feel like support is already gonna be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think you are just safe with the Thresh on the bot lane. And as I mentioned, there's a huge jungle gang setup, so you always have to respect that. And you want to play aggressive on Twitch, and Thresh kind of denies it, no?
I mean, yeah. I'm looking at kind of like the early 2v2s and 3v3s, like top lane the 2v2s I feel like would definitely go to MonkeSports. Maybe the 2v2 in mid jungle, but that's still, I think, skirmishes are not going to be in favor of Kanelbullens. I think if Kanelbullens wants to play the game here, they need to play as a unit. If they're
Yeah.
ever only as in 2 or 3, I feel like there's either a lack of damage or a lack of something else, really. So I'm excited to see really how they pull it off. I think Beehive has been performing well. I think Wulo has been performing quite well. And they are the damage carries here. So if the rest of Kanelbullens can really play around them, then I'm excited.
To be honest, I would love to see an early Drake for Kanelbullens because it just buys you so much time. You just delay the soul of the of MonkeSports, but on the other hand, you can't give away 6 void grubs for free because Fiora and Yone will just run you down on side lane.
I
And
agree. 6 void grubs could be dangerous here.
but as a jungler on MonkeSports, what would be your priority? Would you just full send it for the 6 voids, or do you say you want to get the drakes?
I think looking at the current meta and considering what you really look at for the enemy team, as good as Grubs are for his team, I think just taking the dragons will allow them to. It seems like a safer option because Kanelbullens can't really do anything with the Grubs, and then if they get into the later stages of the game faster by stacking those drakes and getting to that soul early, it doesn't really allow Kanelbullens to scale. So if I were Nico, I would definitely go on trying to get those 2 early drakes. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you can just deny the drakes for them, for Kanelbullens side, it just you just gain more of it than getting the voids because I honestly think the on will suffer in lane. So if you find a window for a top gank or maybe a lane swap later on, you just get the tower for free anyway.
Right. Yeah, it seems like if MonkeSports wants to go for grubs here, they're like evenly trading with them. But if they just go for Drakes, Kanelbullens doesn't really get anything for it. Even if they get the 6 grubs, there's not really any substance to that. They can't really use them.
Yeah, but I think Kanelbullens shouldn't play for void grubs either.
Do you think
I
they can
think
contest Drakes early?
no, I I don't think so. But as you said, there is no gain from the void grubs. Plus, it will take Ivan like forever, probably,
Mm-hmm.
especially the first voids. And
Right.
you can't really send Ornn there to help, because Fiora will either kill him or just take the whole tower.
Yeah.
So maybe, as much as I don't like it, you just have to give both of them to Monkey Esports. If they play Prio Drake, they will get it. And after that, I think they can just take the grubs as well. And you
Honestly,
have
looking at it for the early game, I think a lot of this game is gonna pre 15 minutes come out of mid lane. If Ori can do work here and deny this mid prio, it's gonna be a lot more difficult for Monkey Esports to start either objective freely.
Yeah, for sure. But do you think they can contest the Drake at any point? Except, of course, they kill the enemies. But in a scenario where you would face 4 before, I don't think it's playable for them, no?
I mean, fully in theory, how I at least look at it for the first 2 Drakes, I think. This is gonna, like, everything past that is obviously going to depend entirely on the game. But in the first 2 Drakes, I'm assuming Monkey Esports is gonna have Prio in bot lane, and I'm assuming that they're gonna have Prio in top lane. If Kanelbullens DAG has Prio in mid lane here, they can definitely make it more difficult for them to go for those Drakes and just delay in time. I don't think they'll be able to take those Drakes on spawn. And as long as Kanelbullens make sure that they're not dead in their lanes, and even if bot lane or mid lane have Prio and they're alive, and they just threaten to contest, it's going to delay the game by a substantial amount.
Okay, yeah, I can see this point, to be honest.
We do load in here, right?
Yes, we are in game now.
The standard 5-point. Nautilus and Twitch are moving up.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, but I think Nautilus have to just walk in.
I think they were looking for some kind of early invis Twitch kill or mid lane maybe with a Nautilus hook, which could work.
I mean, the Orianna got her mana flow banned. So for as I heard from my mid laner, this trade is always work. If you have to reset with like 4 HP, it doesn't matter as long as you
Of
get your
course.
proc.
If you get the first mana flow ban on the game is already won. It's unlosable
Yes.
now.
Some mid laners might even say if your enemy gets it before 1 minute 30, you can just FF the game.
Yeah, we've definitely all heard those comments before.
Yeah, that's why I got it.
So we do see some aggressive trading in mid lane. Ori is taking charge. I'm impressed with the presence he shows.
Yeah, I think that at this point he can just walk up because Nico shouldn't be there to gank. This tower shot honestly hurts.
We do see, as expected, top and bot lane for Monkey Esports to have Prio in the early waves.
Yeah, I think it will take forever for bot lane to switch and get Prio. For top lane, I don't think it will happen like ever this game. If they stay on side lane.
You see some good damage come through onto the Yone though. He has no more pots left, he's only sitting on his Dorans. He's around half HP.
I think it's quite interesting that Sergio Ramos decided to jungle to top lane.
Oh, the hook lands onto the Thresh. Ivan is coming through the river. Do we see the root land onto Thresh? Hook, cleanse. Oof. The Thresh gets out alive. That's flash traded on ADC for support. Another flash on Ornn.
Yeah, it's quite sad for Kanelbullens because they're invested Twitch Flash plus cleanse, and in the end, Thresh just walks out.
Well,
If
it
you
does
get the
allow
kill,
them to play lane though. So, oh, that's Nico Flash coming onto the Ori, flashes away but does not live. That is damage onto the Yone, taking the kill on Ivan. That was a great roam timer by Nautilus, coming straight out of base into mid lane.
yeah, he kind of saved mid lane.
Wait. Solo kill in top lane for the Ornn in the counter matchup. I mean, I'm gonna say it. This is looking great for Kanelbullens, honestly.
Yes, I think the roam from bot and jungle was insane because it saved your mid lane. If Yone doesn't die there, it doesn't matter if he gets the kill, I think. But if you can just farm the wave and get your TP for free, I think he will have a much better time. But the solo kill on Ornn, I honestly don't understand it.
There's the hook coming through onto Thresh. Some aggressive trading. They don't find the passive auto from Nautilus. Nico is always in those waves. It's so confusing even as a caster. You have to count the minions.
Yep, because it's a champion you don't see that much in solo queue. I don't know about you, but I don't know when I saw her last time. So you're not really prepared for that.
I mean, we are seeing Kanelbullens with a prio in bot lane right now on the dragon spawn. And Ivan is looking for a lane gank.
Sergio Ramos seems to decide.
Oh, that's a flash from Jhin coming out. Root onto Thresh. Do they have the damage? They do. That's a kill onto Twitch. And this should be the dragon going to Kanelbullens. So we do see Nico, so Sergio Ramos, decide to try and play for topside and play for the early grubs. And I think Kanelbullens is very happy with it. I think they'll take the trade.
Yeah, of course. They get anything they want at this point. They have 3 kills, one of them on the carry with Twitch. But you're just fine bot lane. Jhin lost his slash as well, he just has his barrier. But cleanse is coming up very soon. Ignite as well.
And we're seeing some impressive CS leads in those lanes as well. For expecting them to be losing lanes, they're all performing. As Ori ult getting cancelled, unstoppable by the Yone. Does get away with his life.
But again, it's a very nice roam window from this Nautilus. I think he's doing a great job with that.
His mid lane is... Beehive gets to play quite aggressive in mid lane here, and he has the back of his team. Whereas the Sergio Ramos has been mid once. I can definitely see Flippy tilting a bit.
Yes, I agree.
As he goes down in 10 CS by now.
I mean, Yone scales quite well. But oh no, that hurts.
Oh my god. He does get the cancel. He does get the cancel through. But he does have to take a turret shot for it. I think it might be getting to him a bit.
Yeah, but honestly, he's fine here. Orianna is almost completely out of mana. So there's no kill pressure on her. Yeah, so just cancelled her base. Now you take the wave and go base yourself.
There's some aggressive trades coming through onto the Yone though.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to play it that
Decides
aggressive.
to go for the reset in mid. Has to hook onto the Thresh. Twitch is not in range yet, but there he is. Nico had the first move, so Kanelbullens has to back off here. Has a Twitch ult coming through. They decide to fight this, but I don't think they can live. Flashes the Nico-y. Then hook onto Nico. That's the shield saving the Twitch. Flash Q flashed. And we see a bunch of summoners being burned, and a bunch of ultimates, but not a single kill going over to either team.
I would be so mad on the side of MonkeSports right now. They had a very good gang setup. They played it out just fine, and in the end, you nearly lose your AD carry, and you don't get any kills there.
I mean, it was really well played by Swallow. He made sure not to get hit by that Nico E. I
Yeah,
think if he
for
gets
sure,
rooted
for
there,
sure.
he dies. I'm surprised to see Ornn has had, ever since his solo kill, consistent top prio. The hook on mid lane, I think Orianna goes down here. Can we look at top and it's... Oh, wow! He almost killed her again. This is this is some good stuff coming through from... Oh, I don't want to butcher this name. Langos Maskinen.
I'm happy
He's
with that
winning the
point.
counter matchup. Fresh does get
That's
the hook on
indeed-
Twitch. It
yes.
seems a bit cocky for him to try and go into the 1v1 when his support is missing and he does get punished for it.
I don't like the reset of the bot lane at this point. I don't know
Which
if
one?
you had wards left from MonkeSports.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I
There's a
don't know if
3-man onto the root, lands onto the Fiora. Hook misses. TP coming through from Yone. Fiora is still alive. She does go down to the Ivan. Nico coming through. Jhin ult opens up. Ornn is still alive. That's the hook landing on Thresh. Retaliating with his own. Nautilus goes down to Yone. That's a TP coming through from Ornn. He's coming back out of base with his items. The hook onto Orianna. Has to flash. I think they're looking for the dive. Ornn is going in. They don't have the damage. Beehive dies to a charged turret shot. That is rough. I don't think he expected to be in turret range there.
Well, I didn't expect him to be in touch range there as well, but that's a disaster at this point. You gave 3 kills to Yone, who had at least...
We do see Twitch engaging into Nico in mid, but I don't think he does have the damage. Wow.
One-shotted her. Wow, okay, that's crazy.
It's well played by Swallow. I mean, Kanelbullens, even with the kills going over to Yone, seems to be in a really good position. They are taking the grubs right now, and MonkeSports is not trading them with Nico dead. It's the engage. Massive Yone ult coming through. No kill yet. Ivan does go down. They can't reach the Jhin. Twitch desperately tries to claw at him, but he goes down with no follow-up of his team. This is really rough. That is 3 more kills going over to MonkeSports.
I think the fight was looking fine even after the Yone ult, but Twitch just stepped up too far forwards. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I feel like this is part of the problem in their team, where they obviously want to play front to back, but they are lacking the damage to do so when they're being dove on. So Twitch can decide to either go backwards or make sure to trade that kill onto Jhin. He does decide to do it, but he doesn't have the damage yet. I think once he's looking at 1 or 2 items, I think he'll start 2 or 3 items. He'll start one-shotting people more. That's a flash ult from Nico onto the Norton Twitch. Twitch does make it out alive with his flash. The Nico ults are starting to hit big.
Yeah, it's not just the Nico ults, the Yone ult was big as well. I think Thresh is having a phenomenal game so far. His hooks are very clean. And now we see MonkeSports taking the dragon, and that's another 5 minutes added to the timer for Kanelbullens to contest the soul, and which is probably a win condition for them.
I mean, yeah, Marathon is for sure shining with 8 out of 9 kill participation. The hook comes onto the Yoni, but Yoni decides to dive onto the Twitch, misses with the banana combo. And the Twitch does a... I think the Twitch is glad he missed there. I mean, we're at minute 14, and it's only been 2 Drakes taken so far. Asakan has spawned in the top side, and we have Kanelbullens bot lane in mid. I don't know about you, but who do you favor here?
I think it's really hard to say at this point. I mean, Kanelbullens played the early way better than I expected. Not on the player side, but from the matchups we saw.
Mm-hmm.
But now MonkeSports got a lot of gold from the last fights. Plus they got it on their carries. There are 3 kills on Yon, 4 kills on Jin. So they will have a lot of damage. Well, Jin lacks a bit on farm, but I think with 4 kills and his items completed, they should be able to fight it. All ults expect of Yons are up. So I think it's very scary for Kanelbullens to contest it if MonkeSports decide to start it.
I mean, taking away the team names, for me to look at this game, I have to say I'm actually quite happy in Kanelbullens' position. I think we expected them... Ooh, that's a dive onto Beehive, but he's pretty safe with his Seraph's Embrace. As I would say, I think they were expecting to not get a single Drake, and getting one is not bad. They're also denying 6 scrubs, so getting these early objectives is definitely quite good for them. And the early kills onto Twitch will help them a lot. The game will last, I think, at least 30 minutes. Oof, we do see them knock up, and the solo kill from Flippy onto Beehive. That might cost them the bot turret as well. I forgot what I was saying, but short is... I don't think Kanelbullens is in a bad position yet.
No, I don't think so as well. I just think that it's... At this point, for the moment, it's hard for them to contest the upcoming objectives.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning Herald won't be contestable, I think. And if you don't find a catch, you probably have to give Atakan as well. But as you mentioned, they denied 6 scrubs. Plus they got the first Drake. That's honestly anything they could ask for in this early game.
Yeah. Jin Thresh are getting mid-prio now in the mid-game. So, whatever objective or vision they try to move for, they will have to expect them to be there first for Kanelbullens. I'm surprised that the Ivern so far hasn't fallen any more behind in CS. Usually, you see Ivans that barely farm at all, and they trying to be more of like the second support on the map. This Ivern is, in quotes, only 30 CS behind, which I think is, in Ivern terms, not bad.
No, I think it's decent.
Genold opens up on top, but they don't have the damage to kill the Ornn yet. That guy is stacking armor on armor on armor. That's the hook onto Thresh, knock up onto Thresh. He does get turret aggro. Ornn coming through. That's the kill. Not finishing the Thresh. He gets away with a sliver of health. That's Nico ult onto Nautilus, and they have the damage to finish him off.
That's very unlucky for the Kanelbullens. I think they did a quite great job with layering that CC.
We do see Sergio Ramos driving the Herald into the top turret now. They want to destroy this top side, from what it seems. Wulu is slowly connecting back with the top side. Maybe he can try and go for a kill out of Invis here. Opens up with the ult. Flash from Nico comes through. Oof. That is some heavy damage from the Fiora hitting though, and he does not end with a kill. Photo kill on the bot side for Yone against Beehive. We see the top fight erupting, but Kanelbullens is lacking the damage. Now that Twitch and Orianna are dead, Katarina is chasing them down, gets punished by the Yawn. And Ornn still does go down. Kanelbullens is retaliating. They're not going down without a fight, but they are losing gold slowly.
I like the idea of the fight, but I think after your Twitch dies, you just have to get out there. You are topside with Nautilus, Ivan, and Ornn. There is no damage to fight this. Of course, you get the shutdown on the Fiora, but I think you would be way happier if you get the shutdown.
Yone ult going onto the Ivan. There's not enough damage to kill him though. He has shields on top of Redemption. Yone is all on his own. That's a kill. Dragon is up, and I'm not sure if MonkeSports can take it very safely here. They are hitting, and it seems like Kanelbullens does not seem to want to contest it, so it does go over to MonkeSports. Maritime might be caught here. Some decent damage coming through by Svolo. Hook onto the Nico. Nico ult coming through, missing the Twitch. That Nico has no cooldowns left, and they still have the Twitch alive. That is a 5-3 Twitch coming out of this skirmish.
In my opinion, I had at least asked my team to contest this dragon. But they played the fight out very well after that.
Well, I understand that they didn't have any vision, so I can see maybe they weren't expecting them to be on the dragon yet. But I'm quite impressed with Svolo's performance here, and he does manage to stay alive, flashing forward even, getting the kill.
Yeah, I think that's a play not many ADCs would take.
Does take confidence.
Yes. But it
we
worked
do see
out.
some sneaky wards from MonkeSports in Kanelbullens jungle. And they've had consistently over this game had some really good vision setup.
Yeah, but I think in this comp you also need this vision setup. Because you have a Nico, a Fiora, and a Yone. That I don't know if they have to flank every fight. You can, if you are ahead, you can just take it. But all of them love it to take a flank on your team.
I think both teams seem to be posturing around this top side right now with the Atakan being up. It is the Ruinous, I think, if I remember the assorted names correctly. The one with the flowers.
Yes.
So it is, in my opinion, at least the stronger one.
Yeah, I think there is no doubt about that one. The revive is okay, but after the nerf, I don't know.
I think what's happening here right now is definitely really, I think Kanelbullens are very happy with how the game has progressed so far. It's basically dead for the last 2 minutes. They are holding on to their mid turret. MonkeSports is not in a position to siege. They do start the Atakan now. When we see Twitch solo killing the Jhin. Fury goes down. That's his first death and a massive shutdown onto the Twitch. MonkeSports has to cancel the Atakan.
Yeah, that's a massive kill for the Twitch, especially. And now I think you are able to contest the upcoming objectives. Because your Jhin, your Twitch is very fat. We now see the gold. He's almost 2k gold ahead. And on the other lanes, you're at least okay, except mid lane.
Yes, Twitch has the most gold in the game, tied with the Yone.
And if you look at the overall gold, you're playing a scaling comp and you're only behind 1.5k gold. So you're completely fine with that.
I am worried. I think Monkey Esports is in a bad position here. The last few minutes has been very calm, and they've been leaving Kanelbullens to just scale for free. They've taken one turret, and maybe the Herald, but that was a while ago by this point.
I mean, the Herald play is already over. They got one turret, which is okay. But best case, you want to have two. But no.
We do have Kanelbullens posturing around the Atakan on top side, and Monkey Esports have no vision. It seems like they're trading the Atakan for the Drake. What I'm worried for Kanelbullens is that they might also be losing their mid turret if Monkey Esports decide to push.
Are you okay with this trade? If it ends up being Atakan for the Drake?
It's gonna put Monkey Esports on soul point, but the amount of XP, adaptive force, and gold that goes over to Kanelbullens DAG might be what they need right now. If we look at their other options, I'm not sure if they're in a position to want to flip the game onto a Drake fight. They do lose the mid turret right here. Maybe slightly overcommitting on the Atakan with one too many people.
Yeah, I think if you have the opportunity to not TP top lane on the Ornn and just try to dev mid lane or just delay it a bit, that's a better call.
Nautilus might be caught here. No, they don't go for it. So soul point does go over to Monkey Esports.
Now we see an almost 4k gold lead on the side of Monkey Esports. I think it was a very expensive trade in the end for the Atakan. But generally I would agree that you should take the Atakan over the Drake here.
I'm happy with the decision they made. I'm mostly concerned with the fact that it feels like overdid the whole play. Losing this many turrets is gonna end up hurting them the longer this game goes.
Yeah, for sure.
They do have another 4 minutes though until the soul spawns. You do see Ornn on his own pushing the top turret. Does back off. Monkey Esports is posturing around this Baron. Kanelbullens has decent vision around it though, so they can't start it in secret if they wanted to. And if we look at their items, as much as the gold is swaying towards Monkey Esports here, I think if I look at the items, I would rather be on Kanelbullens' side right now.
Yeah, plus on hit level 15, so the first upgrade went to the Twitch, of course. And if I remember correctly, every on upgrade is like 1k gold efficient.
I think roughly.
So in the end you're 3000 gold behind, but you already got one on upgrade.
Plus I mean, yeah, we see 3 items on Ivan, which I think is massive. This Ivan is going to be an insane heal and shield bot with crazy damage coming through from the Twitch. Now there's 3 items and the upgraded Infinity Edge. And it's going to take them some time to kill the Ornn. Whereas on Monkey Esports side, they don't have the 3 items on Jhin yet. They have them on Yone, but other than that, they have no more than 2.5 items. Monkey Esports does start up the Baron here. They are detected by a blue ward.
Full side step.
The Yone Q missing, the Jhin W missing as well. Twitch is in a really good position to come out of Invis here with an ult. He does hold back. Ornn coming through. Nautilus hook lands. Nico ult only lands on the tanks. Yone ult misses. Kanelbullens is still full HP, chasing MonkeSports. Resh goes down.
But now we have the flank on the Fiora.
Fiora is in the back line, burning. Yone goes down, and the Twitch is still alive. This Nautilus is just running down the Twitch. He flashes the hook. Oh, wow. The hook does still hit the Jhin. And this is going to be Baron towards the side of Kanelbullens.
Yeah, beautiful play by Kanelbullens. The Twitch with a very nice flash, saving his life. And everyone just was on the same page, I think.
We do see Ivan and Ornn trying to catch out the Nico, so they're not committing onto the Baron. Ivan keeps going and the kill is secured on the Twitch. They might be restarting the Baron here. Nico is dead, so that's no smite for MonkeSports. Now they are sending Yone and Fiora to split into their base, but the waves have not arrived at the turret yet. So it's going to be on Thresh to cancel these Baron backs, so they get as much as they can on these side lanes. Yone hasn't killed the turret yet, gets some good damage onto the Twitch, and the Twitch goes down with a massive shutdown onto the Yone. He's poisoned, but the shield bow cooldown comes back up to save him. No inhibs fall.
By the way, it was just a 160 gold shutdown on the Twitch. Of course, you don't want to drop that, but I think at this point I expected more. If I saw it correctly, is 139 gold.
I think uncontestedly, the solo's gonna go over to MonkeSports.
Yeah, for sure. You should just try to get something in return.
They are looking for the pick on Fiora and the top side, but that champ has so many Q dashes at this point in the game. She is staying to defend her tier 1. They might be lacking the damage between Ornn and Nautilus to kill this. Yeah, Fiora does just get away. That's a sneaky Twitch onto the Thresh. Does not want to chase. Going safe. Nico coming through on both of the carries. Thresh gets a flay onto Ori. Nico goes down. That is some massive damage from the Orianna. But she does die to the 4th shot of the Jhin. That's a 2 for 2. And Kanelbullens is losing the Barons. Nortalt into Ornalt. That is years of CC onto this Yone. He's hitting, but he does not get to finish off this Ivan, and he does also die. We have very little damage to keep defending this base, but there's only 2 members of MonkeSports alive to try and take anything. The hook misses and MonkeSports gets chased out of the base.
But honestly, that was a crazy amount of Orianna damage.
She does have the upgraded Ornn item, and I think she's sitting on a good amount of AP.
Yeah, for sure. But it was kinda unlucky. I don't know if you saw it, but the Thresh just hooked the Orianna out of the last Jhin ult shot.
Oh, so I actually didn't see that.
Yeah, if that hits, yeah, you're just fine. You're trading 2 for 1. Your Nico dies, okay, but you get both of the enemy carries.
It's for sure a big well play going over to Beehive, and Sergio almost getting the nice flank onto the carries, but not having enough damage to burst through that Seraph. We do see the game calm down a bit now, as only top inhibitor has been taken from Kanelbullens. Ivan has approached 4 items and 10 Dark Seal stacks, and 4 items on the Ornn as well. 4 items across the board. Oh, we're starting a fight with the Twitch Invis, killing both Thresh and the Jhin. Bot lane is dead with a TP from Fiora coming through. Does make it out alive. Ornn is sprinting at the Nico clone. These are some serious catches from Kanelbullens. And MonkeSports might be in a position to have to defend their base for the last push. Kanelbullens does decide not to push for the end. Nico 4-man ult coming through, one-shotting the Twitch. Fiora is on the backline. Ori is still alive. She has her tanks and she does make it through. I think we're at a point where Twitch is dealing those massive damages, but when they're not getting the Ori, they're still in trouble on MonkeSports side.
Yeah, it was a beautiful Orianna TP.
MonkeSports is TPing in the base. That's Flippy trying to end the game. On TP to retaliate. He does not have a wave. It's coming in now with the super minions. Kanelbullens is sprinting back. That's your Q3 missing onto Orianna. Jhin is chasing. That's a flash from Nautilus. Hook misses onto Orianna. That's some decent damage on the Ornn though.
Yeah, but again,
Mango Bango is kind of lost in his own base. He does go down to the Yone. That's the Ornn ult, which is back. Flash from Jhin. He makes it out alive, but Maritan goes down. This is a fiesta of a base race. Well, not base race, but an attempted base steal.
Yeah, but I think we saw another little miscommunication on the side of MonkeSports bot lane. Because when Thresh flashed in, Jhin just shot his W towards the Nautilus. So if you time it correctly, I think you just killed the Orianna, I think it was, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, you might just win the game here.
Well, with what we end up with is no more turrets on the side of Kanelbullens, but a single one. 2 inhibs are down, so they are in a full base defense situation right here, with an uncontested Baron going over to MonkeSports. Now Fiora is very deep in the enemy base, with her team being on the opposite side of the map. She's gonna go on a bit of a cartoon chase. The kill going over to Beehive, I hope. It feels very unnecessary right before the Elder spawn to try and go for a third inhib for MonkeSports. This might end up costing them Elder.
Yeah, plus Fiora is such an important target to get prio with the Nash, because I don't think there is anyone who can contest her 1v1 if you don't see the rest of MonkeSports on the map. Of course, Twitch can go there and can one-shot her, but he always has to respect anyone covering for Fiora, no?
Now we do see Orianna to be left alone in the base to defend against the Baron push from the Yone. And Kanelbullens is hitting Elder. This is gonna be, if he wants to go for an end by Flippy for an Elder trade, that's his ult for Siguramos. He gets a smite on the Elder! But MonkeSports dies for it. The smite does help Flippy maybe end the game though. Patarina TP's through. They're hitting the respawn turret. I'm not sure if it's respawned or if that's a spectator bug. I think it's respawned.
I don't think it's respawned yet. It might come up right now.
Right. MonkeSports does not manage to win the game. They do get the Elder on what is left 3 teammates. This is a nail biter for both teams as to if they make a mistake at this point now, I think it's going to be lost for either team. And Kanelbullens refuses to give up their base.
Yeah, I think it's just the game we wanted to see. We had an
I
more
think, yeah,
aggressive.
the second turret does seem to be down. I think it came up and they killed it right away. So it's going to take another 2 or 3 minutes until that turret is back.
I don't understand the timer on the turret.
I think
Because
it's just a fixed turret and timer, and you have the little circle around it that is ticking. When the circle finishes, the turret comes back.
Yeah, I saw that, but it looked like it's almost finished. You know?
I think what happened was Fiora damage coming through onto the turret right as it respawned, and she just one-shot it. Now,
Yeah,
MonkeSports is sieging their base with Elder and Baron. That's Arnold coming through, landing on no one, getting cancelled. Yone ult missing. Ivan being an insane support to the Twitch. The Nico ult lands. That's Zonya. Zonya's on the Twitch. And he does survive. Fiora is left to try and hit minions in the bot lane, but 2 members of MonkeSports go down. Nautilus dies to the Elder. Fiora might be able to do something here. Gets the kill, traded onto the Nautilus at Twitch. With Huri chasing the Ornn. He does still have Elder for another 30 seconds, I think. Oh no, it just ran out, actually. They do get 2 inhibs here again. And MonkeSports is on, I think, their 4th or 5th attempt to try and end the game. Huey might be caught. That's an Oriole coming through, and enough damage to kill both of them.
This is such a close game at this point.
I mean, I think we have to say, at least for me, this whole base defend, I didn't see it when I looked down at the items, but Twitch had the, not the Zonyas, but the component, the arm guard, that survived the Nico burst, which was massive for them to win that fight. I mean, he has technically got some AP scalings, but I think after you go full AD, usually you want to go for GA. He makes the Zonyas work very well, though.
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic play, honestly. Without the Zonyas, it might be game. And I think even with the GA, which he probably hadn't had the gold for, but I think even with the GA, you're just gonna die again, no?
Well, we're looking at their items. Kanelbullens is almost entirely full build across the board, with a 24 stack Magi's on the Orianna. So it does give MonkeSports some time here to try and catch up with the items. Another item on Nico they need, and another item on Fiora. Oh, and even on Jhin. So they have to be careful that their damage is going to slowly become a bit less. And I think that little bit of damage on the Nico and Fiora might be what they need to start one-shotting these guys. We do see Fiora engaging onto Ornn, and so does Flippy onto Beehive. Orianna does come through with a Zonyas to dodge the Q3. There's a Nico ult in the backline. We don't see a takedown though. Maritan does not make it alive with his health going slowly down to the poison. Flippy taking bot in it. Ornn gets some decent damage onto the Jhin, flashing away from the Nautil. That still knocks up. And the Twitch is yet to be killed. Sergio Ramos on the side of the map he might not want to be on. Disconnected from his team. Ivan is low. Twitch is looking for the flank. He gets the kill onto Jhin. He gets the kill onto Fiora. Both carries for Kanelbullens are still alive. And Swallow does die to Flippy, who still has GA. The hook lands! But Beehive dies to Sergio Ramos' Q right behind him. This could be the end. It's 40, 30, I think this might be game. 30-second timers on Kanelbullens DAG. I think we just saw a massive game 1 going down in between these two teams. And I am thrilled for the rest of this series.
Yeah, I think we saw both teams are able to win these games with the, I don't want to say lucky ending for the Monkeys because they played it out really well in the late game. But I think this game could easily go in the other direction.
So well played to MonkeSports. They did not back off, and they take the win for game 1 in this best of 3.
And I think with the teams preparing for the next draft, we go to a little break and we will be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We go into draft 4 game 2. The teams indeed switched sides. So Kanelbullens are on red side now. Monkey Esports will have the first pick.
Excited to see if the Ivan prevails, or if it does get taken away in a ban. We see Mel and Smolder bans coming through. Aurora, these teams know what they want to ban, they're prepared. Now, Kanelbullens, I think, is deciding if they want to pick up the Ivan, or if they're happy to leave it open for a possible B1 on Monkey Esports side.
Yeah, I can definitely see an Ivan first pick here again. Because as I mentioned, I don't think the jungler of Kanelbullens plays Nico herself. So you don't really have to worry about that. But you can just deny the Ivan on first pick.
Oh, we were a bit delayed. Gwen and Diana bans were from Kanelbullens Dark, followed by the Twitch ban from Monkey Esports, and Monkey Esports goes with the Yasriel first pick. So Ivan does leave open as an option for Kanelbullens. I think they're hesitant. I think they are suspicious of why that Ivan is still left open. And I'm looking forward to how this draft unfolds. They are locking in the Nico. It's taken away.
Okay,
That
they
is
actually lock in Nico and Ivan. That's something I didn't expect, to be honest.
a massive power play. We were going into this expecting two main picks to be heavily contested on the same role, but I think we mainly disregarded that Nico can be flexed. And I think Monkey Esports didn't expect it either. So let's see what they might be cooking up here.
I mean, you already pointed out at the beginning of the stream that Kanelbullens are very flexible players. They play a lot of champions. So maybe they will make
I mean,
the
the
Nico
fresh
work.
pick does come through as an answer from Monkey. Thresh Ezreal being a solid bot lane. Jarvan could be locked in. So far, two dashless champions on Kanelbullens Dark side. Ooh, Kai'Sa hovered. What do you think about the Kai'Sa pick here, if they were to lock it in?
I like Kai'Sa in general, but I think you need a specific setup at the moment for her. I don't think she's generally broken, but in the Ezreal lane she might be fine, if I'm informed correctly. But I really want to see some hard engage for Kanelbullens now. Like
I
maybe
have
in
to agree.
Nautilus.
Kai'Sa works well. I don't know about you, but I'm a bit worried about the only thing that Kanelbullens might lose themselves in the fact that they want to take away pigs from Monkey. But so far, this Ivan looks a bit out of place if they want to go that deep into a fight.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think the Jhin would have been a good pick on bot lane, honestly. Because
Swapping drafts, you mean, for sides? From game one, right? Where
yes,
Monkey Esports
yes,
picked up the Nico Jhin.
yes. I think it worked out quite fine, especially in the early game. Well, more the mid game when the Jhin had 6 kills. Because I
So we do
don't think
see
they want to
Yo and a
dive
Galio
in.
ban here. Go ahead.
Do we expect Nico to go mid lane, or do you think it's a support Nico?
I would believe them to be able to flex it. I think they are. If I were them, I would leave it for R5 to see and be flexible on it. I think they are capable of doing so.
But would you like to play Kai'Sa with Nico on bot lane? Or do you just get problems in laning?
I think I've seen it before. I don't think it's that out of the ordinary. And Nico is not a pick that should suffer against a Thresh. We do see another flex coming through on the Maokai. So we still don't know where Nico or Maokai are going. Silas is hovered for Monkey Esports. We have seen it be played from Flippy as one of his strong picks.
I really like the idea of the flex picks on B4, Red 4, from both teams in game 1 with the Own and now with the Maokai.
They do lock in Silas, and they're hovering Cassandra, which would be an easy blind. I'm not sure if they would want to play Cassandra here, though. I feel like Maokai is an easy lock-in for top lane, and then they can look where they want to place Nico here.
I don't know.
Finished hover.
Yeah, I think it's just an hover, right? Do you want to play Singed here? I think you're full AP. And he actually locks it in. Okay.
Right. Singed is locked in. I think that's the first time I've seen Singed in the SNCL. I'm excited to see what Kanelbullens Dark with that draft is going to cook up here. The Singed is... I'm looking forward to it. It seems a strong pick on the current patch.
But in my opinion, you are very heavy AP. And I don't know if you might lack some 80 damage later if the Kaiser doesn't get an angle to all in.
I see the worry. And there have been AD builds on Kaiser, or attack speed / on hit builds on Kaiser, where a lot of her damage is still AP. I'm honestly not too worried. They have the option to build Bloodletter's Curse on Singed, removing a lot of magic resistance from Monkey Esports. Ivan usually favors extended fights, where I think Kaiser and Singed and Maokai get to play longer in these fights. And what it comes down to is mostly, does Monkey Esports have the ability to build that much magic resistance? Thrash passive gives him a lot of armor but no MR. Jarvan can build decent amount of MR, past maybe his second item. So he does go Bruiser first. Silas, I don't really think he builds it. And then the main worry for me is going to be Kisante, who might end up being a fucking MR rock. Well, my bad.
Yeah, especially if you have a look at top side, they are full AP with Ivan, Nico, and Singed. So he will just buy full MR and he doesn't really worry about the Kaiser. And even if they swap, you can easily swap back. So you just place your bot lane against Kaiser. And the Cassante will always be fine.
I think overall, if you had to pick a draft, similar to what we did in game 1, who would you prefer here?
Well, me as an Jarvan connoisseur, not an OTP, but close to it sometimes.
Yeah.
I would always pick the Jarvan side. But honestly, if I have a look at the whole draft, I think it will, for me, be Monkey Esports anyway.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, I'm worried about the lack of AD damage.
So I can see your worry. And I think it's a similar worry to what we had in game 1, where it's going to come down to execution. I am hopeful that Kanelbullen can pull off a very clean game here. I think they have better early lanes where they were hurt, where we expected them to be hurt in the game 1, where they were theoretically matched up in worse lanes, but they pulled it off quite well. Now they're on champions that can maybe abuse that way better, and they can look to snowball their lanes much, much faster. Looking at top lane, I just want to look at this Singed. I've seen Singed on paper be really strong at the moment with the buffs he received, which was, I think, quality of life changes that were overall buff. I'm just happy to see a Singed in competitive, I'll be honest. I'm kind of just rooting for him just for that reason.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that take. And if we get a game 3, it will be quite hype for me. But I will have to stay with Monkey Esports on that draft.
I mean, for sure, a game 3 would be massive. If we get another game in game 2, like this game 1 game, I think there's going to be content for days. And there's going to
Yeah,
be
for sure, for sure.
a block of messages in the chat. If Kanelbullens does pull off the win here, we will have all 3 first of the playoffs games going to the quote unquote unexpected or underdog in these games. And I don't know about you, but overall, I think the general sentiment was Kanelbullen Dog is against Monkey Esports the most uneven matchups in playoffs. So far from what we've seen, I cannot agree. I think this game was very close, and I'm excited to look at another really close game in game 2, hopefully.
Honestly, I don't know about the odds for the series in the playoffs. In my opinion, and that's just my opinion, so please be nice in chat. I think, well, I thought the biggest mismatch would be Assassins versus QTE, but I haven't
Right.
faced QTE myself, so
Mm-hmm.
I could only speak for the Assassin side. But I do agree that the game 1 was an absolute fiesta, and if we get another game like this, anyone can win. But I also think if you play this game 10 times, Monkey might win 7, maybe.
That's fair. That's fair. I want to look at a few players here. So we saw very strong performances, I feel like, from Beehive and Swallow on Cannibal and Stark, and they've been putting in the work as the carries. I'm not sure, but maybe you can help me. On Monkey Esports, it hasn't felt like any players have been specifically sticking out. What do you think?
I think we saw some highlight plays on the side of Monkey. For example, some Yone ults or some flash ults from the Nico. But overall, the players with the most visual impact, I would say, will for sure be on the side of Kanelbullens. I think they both had great games, and in this draft, they actually have someone to protect them. Maybe a bit better than last draft, because Maokai can peel. You have the Ivan again.
Double trees.
Plus, you have the Nico on your side this time. So maybe if he's a good Nico player, I don't know to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he can do a lot of work here.
I think ignoring game 1, I'm really looking forward to how Flippy is going to approach this game. He's not gotten many Silas games so far, but from what I've seen, it's one of his strongest champions. And I think Silas, in general, is a really strong pick into Kanelbull and Stark here. We do see Kanelbull and Stark 5-man stacking, running it into mid lane, so we might see an early level 1 kill. I don't think Monkey Esports knows yet. They haven't seen them. Marathon is checking. The root misses, but the root from Maokai comes through. Marathon takes it gracefully, and it's a first blood going over to Kaisers.
Yeah, that's a huge play for Kanelbullens, especially on the Kaiser.
I mean, this is going to make the bot lane much, much easier for them. On the side of Monkey Esports, we saw them last game prioritize, at least for the first objective, the grubs. In your opinion, at least, where do you want to see them go here?
I don't see any grubs prior on either team, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think on both lanes, on both sides, I'm sorry, I would highly prefer Drake. But just because I don't think anyone can really use it, Singed might go proxy farming. So Cassandra will just clear the wave under his turret. So top lane there won't be any use of it. And bot lane I'm not sure if you of course, the kill will help you. No, that's out of question for me. But I don't know if you are able.
I want to
get
interrupt you.
so much
We
prior.
do see Jarvan level 2 invading the Ivan here. In his bot side. And I think he's pushing him away. That's some heavy trades in mid. Solo kill from Flippy onto Beehive. And Jarvan might be taking the blue buff from Ivan right now. The blue buff does go over to Ivan. His passive kept loading and he smited it. Flashes out to survive. Degenormus does not flash after for the kill. A hook from Maritan lands onto Swallow. Knock up does flash away and gets away with his life, but he has lost a massive chunk of HP. Ivan is famously very vulnerable to these invades, and MonkeSports is pressuring him early. And we see some good damage coming onto Swallow. He does die to Hugh Reap. Barriers are popped. Wow! He gets the Q off, and it's a 1-for-1. It's not even that bad. Top lane is heavy trading as well. Both laners on very low HP, and K'Sante left on just a little bit of mana. Ivan does decide, we can see, to go for Jarvan's top side. He might have to be very careful though, because Jarvan is making his way up. That's a flash flip from the Singed! Knocked, and a solo kill from Patarina. He sadly missed his W, so the root does not connect. Ivan is pinging for help on his blue buff, on Jarvan's blue buff. But I think he might be in danger here if he wants to smite it. The root from Nico comes through. Ivan dies to Huri on the Ezreal. That's a massive kill. That's flash from Beehive, but it might not be enough to save him. That's EQ landing on Beehive. He's on 1 HP, but he's not dead. Flash also from K'Sante finishing the job. Massive hook from Maritan landing on the Singed. And Fury chases and dies to Singed poison. The #1 rule in League. Now, to be fair, Singed was mega low, but I mean, what do you think? I don't think he should have died there.
I honestly don't like the way they played it out on bot lane, because I think you should just take the kill so your Ezreal survives and you don't take the 50-50 with the Kaiser. But I can kinda understand it. But there on top lane, I don't think you should ever take this trade-off.
We do see another kill going over to Swallow on the Kaiser. He's 3-1 now. Crashing a massive wave into the bot turrets. From the kill distribution, I mean, what do you think? I'm seeing a 3-1 Kaiser against a 2-0 K'Sante.
Yeah, I think it couldn't be worse for Monkeys, because 3 kills on the Kaiser, as you pointed out, and she will be your only AD damage. So you just created a huge threat for your K'Sante later on. Well, I mean, it's K'Sante, of course, you can just outplay it or just tank it anyway, because this champion is kind of broken.
K'Sante, of course.
But I think it's the worst target from Monkey's perspective to give 3 kills to this early on.
Now, we do see that Swallow has not made it to reset yet for this dragon, as Singed is proxying the top wave. We see a bunch of low health lanes, and I think they're all carrying quite a chunk of gold. Jarvan is starting up the dragon, and I'm not sure if he'll make it to finish, as Ivan is approaching for a bot play. The Maokai Flash W was used earlier to catch out the Sylas, so that's not a tool they can use again. Ivan is sitting in the fog of war, but I think this might be taking so long to the point where Jarvan is getting a free dragon here.
Yeah, I also think so. It's just a waste of time.
It is the Hextech Drake going over to Jarvan and secured for MonkeSports. That was very clean by Katarina. Unstoppable through the knockup from the Singed. Misses the Q3. And yeah, Cassante doesn't have any mana left, so he wants to just leave. I think Maritan and Huri on the Monkey Esports side are doing a really job right now in trying to deny Kai'Sa her reset. They've been pressuring her to stay in lane, and as a result of that, now that she's forced to have to leave, she's going to lose a wave.
Yeah, but if you have a look at her items, I think she's okay with that. Of course, it's not good for her, but she will come back and be an absolute monster on this lane.
Yeah, now that she does have her items, I'm a bit worried for how Maritan and Huri are going to approach this. He does cancel his reset. Ooh, this might destroy all the work they just put in, as they are forced to stay in lane. In an even worse position than they were before.
Yeah, I think the reset from Ezreal was kind of greedy, because first of all, he was... I think he should have gone under the turret, or at least close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus he stepped out of the bush and just recalled on the lane.
Yeah, he was still on vision. And we see a possible gank on mid lane. Which doesn't come through, the Nico clone does save it. I have to say, I'm most surprised so far that Ivan is actually in a CS lead, but contrary to what we saw in game 1, the rest of Kanelbullens is behind CS on these lanes.
I mean, bot lane is kinda even, because Ezreal has to take a reset now. But I'm most surprised that Nico, well, they are even as well, but I thought she might get a CS lead here on mid lane.
Beehive did play it impressively on the Orianna in lane last game. It does not seem to be his most comfort to be on Nico, and especially against Flippy Silas, who has so far in his official games shown an extreme prowess from that champion.
Yeah, I think we also have to point out that Flippy just...
Has a flash W route onto the Ezreal, who does not have any mana left. The Lantern saves him, and he does barrier to get away with his life. There's some decent damage coming onto Mango Bango, but Robgob with the Ivan is here to save him with a shield. Kanelbullens Dark bot lane is pressuring Maritan and Huri. And the work they put in to have Kai'Sa lose that wave earlier might all go to waste now that a thick wave is crashing into the bot turret and Sergio Ramos is forced to catch it. We have 130 on the dragon spawn, and the grub spawning soon as well. What team do you think is going to be in the advantage for contests on either objective here?
I think Kanelbullens should easily be able to get bot prio again. Because Kai'Sa just one-shots the wave at this point. So they can push it in rather easy. Plus, you could start to prepare your vision or your saplings with Maokai, but now he's getting engaged.
We do see Sergio Ramos aggressively chasing Mango Bango, but nothing just come off it. Katarina is tanking the turret, getting some strong damage onto the Singed, with the ult coming through, and Kisante getting flipped into the turret! Neither of them being killed yet! Ivan is there to support his Singed. I'm not sure if they're able to kill Kisante though. He does have the refillables and he does have the Doran's shield. He does make it away with his life.
I love the Singe picked on top lane. Honestly, in draft I wasn't so sure about it, but it's so fun to watch.
It is a lot of fun, especially the Snow Day Singed is a very nice skin. I mean, so far, I'm excited to see what this guy is going to cause in mayhem in team fights. And half the screen is going to be covered in poison. Now, we do see Kanelbullens bot lane approaching the dragon, having started it, I'm assuming. And MonkeSports does not seem to want to give it without a fight. Sergio Ramos and Flippy are approaching through river. They are on their own. Fury is yet to connect with them. Marutan is coming in from the bot side, and Kanelbullen is giving up the dragon without a fight. That is the second dragon going over to MonkeSports. I have to say I'm surprised. I didn't think they would just leash the Drake for him.
I think they don't have to give it away, honestly. Because you have the Maokai ult, you can easily zone them out of the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Your Kai'Sa already completed her first item. Well, you don't have the Ivan ult, but yeah, again you have the Nico ult, so you can just zone them. They can't really face check you, I think.
Well, I think it might be a similar mentality to what we've seen in Game 1, where Kanelbullens has a very strong scaling team, and in their eyes it might not be worth it to flip the game on the second dragon, but we will see if it comes back to bite them or not. As the MonkeSports is in position to contest these grubs, Nico from Silas coming onto a 3-man with a Nico's retaliation, killing no one yet, with the Silas finishing off Jarvan. MonkeSports is all over them, and Kanelbullens is not ready to reply to that Silas ult, or the Nico ult, technically. We do not see a solo kill in top lane. That skirmish, I wouldn't have expected it to go that dramatically in the favor of MonkeSports, I have to say.
Did Kai'Sa base already? Because
I think... Ooh. We do see her sit on 1.3k gold.
Yeah, I think it's just...
Maokai is engaging onto Sergio Ramos, and Marutan is trying to protect his K'Sante. Beehive cannot finish off the Patarina yet. And no kills go over, and TPs are invested in topside. Vulo is desperately trying to look for that reset as he's sitting on a big chunk of gold. Fury trying to find him to cancel. Although Svolo is not resetting. He does decide to stay in lane, with Mango Bango approaching. He doesn't have ult, so he might not be able to cancel the Ezreal reset here. Does get seen on vision, and Fury's recall does come through. You see interesting lane assignments. Nico did stay in top lane, and Singer's taking the mid wave, but I think he's going to make his way back to top lane.
Yeah, I think he should. He likes this long top lane where you can just proxy. I don't think he want to go mid lane.
I want to see Singe to get at least one more item before he starts getting those big skirmishes around the mid lane. Now, coming out of these very eventful few minutes, we do have an incredibly strong K'Sante approaching 2 items, and Flippy sitting on 3 and 1, with his Darksteel ready to start stacking for the next skirmishes. I am a bit worried that, different to Game 1, this time Kanelbullens is not performing that great in the early game, and their scaling is also not as strong. We do see Maokai ult coming down. Fury flashes the Kai'Sa ult. Full of flashes afterwards though, and he does secure the kill. It's a 3v2. Robgob getting the root on the Jarvan. Marutan lives not. Solari can only keep him long for that. Can only keep him alive for that long. With a 2-for-0. Both kills going on to Svolo. With everything that I just said being more or less thrown out the window, with a massive chunk of gold going towards the Kai'Sa.
And as we said, I think Kaiser is the one where you want to have your gold on. But I'm
I mean, we'll
honestly a
see.
bit surprised that Sergio Ramos get to walk out there. I mean,
We do see. I
trees
think their
were on
priority.
him. Both trees approached him.
And both trees did approach him. We have Kaiser going crit. Now, they need the AD, obviously, on Kanelbullens. Do you think it's worth going crit, or would have it just been better with the current item builds on Kaiser?
Honestly, I'm not too familiar with the current Kaiser item builds, I have to say.
Well, either way, I think Kanelbullens is going to be happy to have that AD damage.
Yeah, for sure.
We do see MonkeSports starting up the dragon here. And a severe lack of vision for Kanelbullens, so they have to be approaching this dragon very carefully. Dragon is on 6000 HP. Nicole coming through, hitting the Thresh. Thresh going down. With a 4v5, Steadrimus cannot finish off Sulu on his own. And MonkeSports are crumbling. Sulu comes through with an 7-1. Might this be a... Oh, first of all, Kisante champion, right? Patarina might do some work here. He does go down. Huge fight from the side of Kanelbullens. Technically, they aced them, I think, as Maritime just respawned fast enough.
Yes, they did. But honestly, it was a clean ace. They played this fight out very well. It's crazy how tanky this Kaiser is with all the support she gets. And you have to mention the Nico ult. I don't want to say it was useless, but I got way less impact because of the Thresh who landed his hook. If that goes through in the team fight on the important targets, this fight will look even less close than it did just right now.
Yeah, I mean, it looked a bit disheveled from the side of MonkeSports. They were very much out of position and disconnected as a team in this fight. And Kanelbullens approached this very confidently. They are 3k gold up at this point, 3.3 to be exact. They are in a similar position when it comes to dragons. And we do have Atakan spawning in topside again. If it comes down to it, this game, would you have them trade Atakan again for the dragon? Or might it be worth to take the dragon this time?
Honestly, I would prefer to take the dragon this time. You don't want to be in the spot with Soul coming up again, and you are just out of position once, and you lose the Soul.
Yeah, I'm definitely on your side with this one. Kanelbullens is in the driver's seat for the rest of this game so far. Where if they can get a position to start forcing dragons once they approach 3. We do see Jarvanol coming onto Beehive, followed up with Flippy. Beehive does not make it away as the flash auto attack from Flippy finishes him off. That was very close, and Beehive did do his best without a flash, but it was not enough. As Hulu is left alone in mid lane for Robgob and Mango Bango to try and defend the bot tier 2, as sadly very unsuccessfully. Patarina is under turret, tanking turret shot after turret shot, pulling him over the wall, and Singed is unbothered. I would say incredibly played from the Singed over here.
Yeah, I agree, but I want to point out, look at this Cassandra. He can't, any other champion can't do shit there.
I mean, yes, this Cassandra is
This
sitting on
almost one-shots him.
the 2 biggest magic resistance items, right? And doing this amount of damage seems a bit unreasonable.
That's one way to point it.
Kanelbullens is approaching mid lane tier 1 here. They are finishing it off. and getting the top turret. We are looking at a... Let me get this right. Voracious Atakan this time. So it's the one with the GA. I would say more so of a reason to ignore the Atakan in this game.
Yes.
Oh, Nico from Beehive connecting onto Huey with the knockup, but the stun doesn't go through. Ruler with the ult into Flash. He's going very deep here for the kill. He dies, but he does finish off the Ezreal. We are left with a 4v4 in the jungle. Silas goes down. Beehive in the Zhonya's. They are not left with much damage, but Mango Bango is doing work. Sergio Ramos misses the EQ onto the Nico. She does go down to Patarina though. The trees are left alone with the Singed now coming back in. And the poison is spread. Sergio Ramos goes down. Patarina pulls him over the wall. He does have the blast gun if he wants to leave. Singed takes it. Patarina is down to a third of his HP, dealing massive damage to the trees. Unstoppable, coming through. Can't finish the Ivan. Might be able... Ezreal has respawned and got the Singed coming out of base. K'Sante did not die. And the fight went for so long that Ezreal respawned and made it out of base to finish off the Singed. Flippy now chasing Mango Bango to probably just finish him off. Ooh, Splash is still dies to the Bluetooth auto attack. That was an insanely long fight for Ezreal to be able to return. We do come out of it with a lot of gold going towards MonkeSports, bridging the gap slowly.
I mean, the big shutdown for the Kaiser went to Thresh, so I think that's okay. But after that, you just don't have any damage left for the K'Sante.
Now, we see MonkeSports taking the dragon uncontested here, going on to Soul Point. I'm not sure Kanelbullens is happy with it. Or, I mean, from what it seems, they seem to be happy with it. And they're approaching Atakan. With MonkeSports not looking to contest that either, so both teams handshaking these objectives right here. Atakan going below for half HP and should be finished off.
Oh no.
Oh my god, the Ezreal ult steals! Huey finishes off the Atakan! This might be the nail in the coffin for Kanelbullens. Now MonkeSports has the GA for when the Baron spawns in the next 10 seconds as they finish off mid-tier 1. That is massive.
That's a disaster, honestly.
Yeah, we see Beehive and Patarina emoting in top lane. This has to be a... this is a mental torture for the side of Kanelbullens. The Nico trying to prevent the dive, but she does just go down. Wow, what we're left with is even gold, soul points for MonkeSports, Atakan on the side of MonkeSports, and they are in an excellent position to take both tier 1s in mid and top, and approach this Baron if they want to. It looks like they are starting it up.
Yeah, it will be nearly impossible to contest, I think.
We do see Kanelbullen on the mid wave, walking into the river, but it's only 3 of them. They do decide not to contest and push it down for the mid lane tier 2. Baron going over to MonkeSports. We have Singed putting in work on the bot side, getting another turret, getting 2 tier 2s for Kanelbullens at least. Make sure they get a little bit of gold out of this play. Mango Bango getting caught by Marutan's hook, going down. This is... I mean, I was really excited for this game too, and this game has been going insane. This Ezreal ult by Huey, you have to give him all the flowers, has completely shut down Kanelbullens.
Yes, it was a huge play. First you get the Drake, as we mentioned before, you don't want to be on soul point again. Well, and after that, just you get outsmited by the Ezreal ult. I think he smited but missed. Or didn't he have smite? Do you remember?
Either way, that was not the result that Kanelbullens was hoping for. I mean, as a total, giving over Dragon, giving over Atakan, giving over Baron, giving over top and mid turrets, and it seems so sad to watch now. I think when I saw Beehive emoting in top lane, I was really rooting for the Singed. I was really rooting for this team to put in the work, and Swulu has been at work in these 2 games. He's been putting in all he can. And right now he's sitting on 9-2 as Kai'Sa, and his team is estimated to lose, which seems... Look, maybe they can miracle. I'm not going to give up on them yet. The gold difference is not that big, but maybe we see some clutch Nico ults. We will see.
Yeah, I indeed hope so. I think it would be crazy game 2, just like game 1. So I'm down for it. Give me a next Singed outplay, give me a Nico ult.
MonkeSports is slowly taking turrets with their Baron. Deciding to reset and not siege for the inhibs, but resetting for their soul points. Katarina cancelling the Singed. Score. Sergio Ramos and Huey coming out of base, very prepared for this soul point, and Kanelbullens has to make a decision here, if they can go and contest or they give it. Which, as desperate as it seems, they might be forced to contest it. They are looking for the Maokai ult on the mid lane. Daisy comes out. Kai'Sa is hooked, but Thresh is isolated. Dies. We're left with a 4v5. Flips in K'Sante. He goes low. K'Sante goes down in the mid lane. It's a 3v5. This dragon could go to Kanelbullens. The grounded reaches the... Cancels the EQ on Jarvan with a Singed flip. They're chasing down MonkeSports. Is this an ace for Kanelbullens? They could be pushing mid lane and ending the game here. It's an ace going to Kanelbullens. Daisy's tanking the turret and they're hissing for their lives.
They also
The
have
wave is
5
coming
void
in.
traps. This might be game.
Marathon is spawning in 3 seconds, but it's another 20 seconds till K'Sante. All 5 members of Kanelbullens are here. They have not given up. They're going for the full length of the 3 games. They're hitting the turrets. They're hitting the Nexus. And we're going into a game 3. Well played on the side of Kanelbullens, Doug.
Yeah, and we called it and we just got the game we wanted. That's just the second game of the series and both of them were crazy.
I mean, I'm speechless.
Yeah,
Speechless.
same.
But we're excited to go into a game 3 soon. We'll go into a pause first and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Welcome back to the final game of this series. With Kanelbullens on the blue side, Monkeys choose red side again, and we are already starting the draft. We see the Gwen and Diana ban on the side of Kanelbullens. Monkey Esports keep up the Mel and the Aurora ban.
Very similar to what we saw in game 1 on the same sides. The question is, do they leave? They do ban the smaller. Do Monkey Esports leave the Ivan open? Do they want to run it back, or do they ban it?
They ban the Twitch. That's interesting.
So this is on Kanelbullens now. The decision lies within their hands. Either way, I'm pretty sure that Nico is going to go over to whatever team doesn't pick it.
Yeah, I think Nico and Ivan are the prior picks again. Ivan is Harvard at least, but I think it will be locked in for the Kanelbullens.
There it is. I'm expecting a Nico pick, but maybe they want to deviate from what they did in the last 2 games. Maybe there's going to be some fresh blood coming in, a new champion that hopefully maybe mixes up.
I think they should could go again for the Nico, of course, but honestly, I think they will pair it again with the Jin because it worked quite well, and to me, the Twitch ban would make sense now because you struggled against it. But it
Sivir
seems
is
like
covered.
I'm wrong. They go for Sivir.
Nico Sivir is locked in. Still a reasonable Twitch ban for that matchup, but that does give Kanelbullens quite the selection in what they want to pick on AD. Would you have preferred Jin over Sivir? Or the other way around?
I haven't thought about Sivir, to be honest. I thought about draft from game 1 with the Jin.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Sivir is reasonable. The Jin is locked in for Kanelbullens. I don't know the matchup, honestly. Do you have an opinion on that?
I mean, if they want to lock it in into Sivir, it's probably going to be decent. I'm assuming. I'm not the professional on ADC picks right now. It's going to be another Maokai flex, I think. Tahm Kench is locked in. Technically, I think also a flex. I'm assuming.
I mean, I think it will be a support Tahm Kench, but I like it, honestly.
It would deny a lot of burst coming through from the Nico ults. If this is their answer to Nico, I like their adaptability throughout the series. They are not lacking creativity.
Yeah, that's for sure. Both in draft and in gameplay.
Yes. And we do see Melio locked in for Monkey Esports. And curious to see what they want to go for in bans. This is Vex. We have seen Vex be played from Kanelbullens, which, seeing a Vex makes sense. It seems like an annoying pick against when you're playing Nico and you want to ult in and then you get feared. Could be in your way. Might also hint at possible other Dash champions they want to play on Monkey Esports. So the Yone ban does make sense.
I would love the Singed one. If you are able to get a ban on your Singed, you did something really well.
That is crazy. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm assuming there's going to be a Kesante on R4.
Yeah, it would make perfect sense now.
But the Singed has gained some respect. A Singed ban is... I'm grinning. I am very happy to see it. Syndra hovered. Okay. Syndra locked in. So they're holding the top pick.
I honestly
They're hovering
expected
Mundo.
an on pick for Kanelbullens Maybe they switch it. Maybe they look Mundo.
I think we'll see. Mundo does get locked in here. What would you want to see here for the side of Kanelbullens? They have options into Syndra, but they definitely need some heavy damage.
Yeah, for sure. I would have loved Aurora as a pick, but of course it's banned. I really like
Akali's locked
Akali.
in. I don't know about you, but I love watching Akali.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I
I
mean, this
think
is going to
it's a
be
good
a
pick.
hell of a fun to cast.
Yeah, for sure. We will get the same game as game 1 and 2. Mark my words. This will be this will be the next big game for us.
And Olaf gets locked in. What do you think? I have some opinions, but what do you think on these picks? I want to hear you first.
Honestly, I'm a bit
I can go
shocked
first,
of
but
both drafts. But I like Kanelbullens. I think I went for Monkey the last 2 games, so this time I'm looking in the Kanelbullens. They surprised me last game. They honestly surprised me in the first game as well, even though they couldn't finish it off. But I like the way they draft and the way they play. Quite
I'm
fun.
gonna say, for me, the top lane is gonna make a massive difference here. And I've played Nico jungle. From what I've seen, Mundo is nasty to play against. As Nico and as Syndra. In general, you don't really have heavy AP into Mundo. You need those consistent DPS, which you might get from Sivir. But then Nico and Syndra will be a bit helpless into the Mundo. Whereas on the other side for MonkeSports, they have an Olaf into Tom, Mundo, Akali, Ivan. That guy is going to get to hit for free. And I mean, he doesn't care about the CC Ivan provides.
Plus, even if you manage to get through Mundo somehow with a Nico Flash or anything, you still have to deal with the Tahm Kench. He will just ult his AD carry or the Akali, and after your ult is done, you just get one-shotted.
The Tahm Kench, I mean, we'll see the execution of it, but if he can stay next to his Jhin, or I'm assuming probably Ivan as another vulnerable target, if he can make sure those don't get one shot by the Nico combo, or even the Syndra. I mean, they picked Syndra into Tahm Kench here. As long as he can deny the burst with his ultimate, that is going to be massive value from just one spell. I want to look at the jungle matchup here, though. We have looked at Nico and Ivan for 2 games now. I'm looking at this and I'm trying to think back at game 1. We've had some great ults by Sergio Ramos, but I have to say, the Ivan was not bad in that game, and I'm looking forward to this rematch. I'm looking forward to Rob Gob, my bad, Rob Gob, to put in some work the way he did in game 1.
Honestly, after game 1 and game 2, I think for me personal, this matchup is slightly favored for the Ivan. When we started game 1, it was the complete opposite for me. I thought Nico would be just fine. She would like this matchup. But I think Robgob played it out very good. Of course, they lost the game, but I don't think it was on him or his pick at all.
We're gonna have some time before we load into the game. I have to say, I'm a bit all over the place thinking about the last 2 games and what happened. And I'm trying to, as best as I can, analyze what might possibly come from these 5 champions on either side clashing on the Rift, I don't know. I'm looking forward to some great Akali engages, to a Sivir just sprinting at people with her ult, Olaf doing massive damage, Jin getting some nice shots, big Tahm Kench ults. I want to say, I want to deep dive this and analyze this to the smallest and all the details. But I'm kind of looking forward to just the player matchups and how these teams pull their picks off.
Honestly, after game 1 and 2, we couldn't analyze anything here. It's just totally random at some points. One team will gain advantage, then they will throw, and in the end, one of them will win. That's all that's for sure. But everything else that happens on the Rift between the start and the end of the game feels like very much randomness.
Well, I want to say both of these teams have put on a massive show so far. They've had their incredibly shining moments. I think we've seen some amazing highlight-worthy plays, and players have been popping off. So I'm looking forward to the Swulos, the Beehives, the Nico ult, and Flippy maybe even on the Syndra, which we get to see now. I'm looking forward to all of these massive plays. I want to see more action. I want to see more of these game one, game two incredible skirmishes. So I am honestly very excited.
And I just want to put out, I don't want to put any disrespect on any of the players or the teams with the last comment, but I just think it will be a fiesta again. And I'm very hyped about it. I'm really looking forward to this
the
game.
ball is rolling, right? They have started it off this way. They have kept it up. And I'm not convinced either of these teams in a best of three game 3 is going to calm down now. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot on the line.
And I think we both agree no one of us think they will slow down this game.
No.
Final game of the series, some teams would try to play it slower, don't make any mistakes. I think both of these teams couldn't care less.
The pace
game
is
one
up.
of it's game 3.
The pace is for sure all the way up. I want to say also we went into this series having MonkeSports as the favorites. I think either team who wins it deserves it. They've been playing insane. It's been a joy to watch.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But I think at least in these 2 games, they were pretty even gameplay wise.
For sure.
If you had just shown me this without the standing in after the regular season, I couldn't tell which one was the favorite here.
We are loading into the game now. We do see, and I want to hear your take on this, Katarina running the Ghost Ignite on Olaf. No TP, full aggression.
I mean, that's what we just pointed out, right?
Yes.
Some players would try to slow down the game, but not these teams.
We have the Ghost Ignite on the Olaf. We have the Ghost on the Sivir. Ghost TP on Mundo as standard, right? We do have the Akali in mid being calm with the TP.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Production, you have to switch the scenes. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
Right. We are in a standard 5 point. We see Sergio Ramos pinging the wave. He's probably going to start the classic minion clear on the... He's awarded his red buff. He could be pathing into top lane this game. And we do see Ivan also starting on the bot side. So both bot lanes being weak-sided. Oh, what do you think?
I think for Nico, it's better than for Ivan. Of course, now you can cover the gank on Ivan, so you kind of match the Nico, so it's good for him. But I think if well, you didn't have any information, so you just assumed he might start bot side, and in that case, I would have tried to play for my bot side on Ivan.
I mean, I'm gonna say, I still am of the opinion that these top laners are gonna run this game, from draft at least. So it makes sense for me that both junglers will be playing topside, as it feels like they're gonna be the deciding factor in this game. I am slightly worried though, mostly for the fact that Melio Sivir will surely outscale Tahm Kench and Jhin. So if Ivan wants to path into topside, I think it would be beneficial to him if he paid a few visits more in mid lane and to exist to cover top lane more than make plays on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would lose the 2v2 on top lane just because of the ignite. So you just get run down, and Ivan, without items, his shields won't really help. But on the other hand, as I said, at least now you can cover the Nico gank, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't commit for it, you just cover it and yeah, try to keep Mundo alive in case of a gank. Oh, never mind, I thought maybe
No.
we have some action on bot lane.
We do see the junglers meeting on top crab. Beehive has Prio and he's moving for the crab. Robcop gets spotted. Flash coming through from Sergio Ramos to dodge the root. He would have died. Olaf just reset. So he does stay alive here. Both junglers reset and they're going to come back out onto the bot side. We've seen some very nice aggression from Fulu and Mango Bango. And unusual from what we've seen from the last two games, mid lane is actually quite calm.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it won't stay like that for long.
Oof. Flippy losing his flash early to another visit from Mango Bango. We've seen those in the first two games. Those early visits from support in the mid lane. He's gaining insane value by helping out his Akali through the laning phase. Now we have a slow push in mid lane, with Drake spawning soon. Neither mid laner has reset. They both have TP though. So Akali should be in the advantageous position if she wants to reset and TP back here to contest the dragon. Although it seems both teams are taking this very slowly. So we might see our first contest on the Grubs.
If this game plays out slowly, who do you think gains the advantage from it?
Well, I want to say the Olaf will really thrive in a larger amount of fights. We do see Olaf engaging onto the flashless Mundo here and does get the kill with the ignite. That was a very easy rundown. I'm a bit worried for Kanelbullens. I think with the team they have, they do want to look, especially around the bot side, for some early contests with Tahm Kench's early base damage, with the Jhin damage, right? They have the ability to contest, especially into champions like Melio, who are quite weak early. We do see the knock-up come through onto the Melio. He does get away on low HP. Robcop coming in, I think, to help push the wave so they can take the dragon here. Sergio Ramos has not started the grubs yet, deciding to recall. So we might see cancelled it. We're not going to see a contest on the dragon and the trading objectives.
Yeah, I think this game, the prior for the grubs is more valid than in the last game, because you have an Olaf. Olaf with 6 grubs works quite fine, I think. I would assume. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, if League of Legends were a perfectly balanced game, yeah, I think they definitely can put on a lot of work with 6 grubs if they do get them. In my opinion, dragon stacking is just way too good at the moment. Getting these early souls, being able to force enemy teams to fight you on dragon soul or soul points is a massive advantage. So I'm very happy that Kanelbullens can pick up this early dragon.
Yeah, I agree. I would also prefer Drake here, but I think compared to last game, it's more okay for your top laner
Yeah,
to trade off the objectives.
it does
Because
make more
last game
sense.
I would have wanted them to contest the Drake, if possible.
Other than that, we have an unexpectedly calm game so far. Only 1 kill in 8 minutes. MonkeSports is slowly building up a gold lead, sitting at around 1.1, 1.2k gold, with a major CS leads in top and jungle.
Honestly, I think you should have tried to bully mid lane a little bit more after she used the flash. Maybe throw in an Ivan gank, or if you have a window, go for a roam on Tamkinch.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Mango Bango put in the work, right? He set the foundation, and he managed to really make Flippy shiver, right? Be quite vulnerable, and then we see neither Rob Gob or Mango Bango pay another visit in mid lane. For now, Flippy's flash is already back up. We do see Swallow open up his Jin ult onto the Melio. Fury is tanking. The 4th shot lands on Maritime, but the W misses and he gets away with his life. He holds onto the flash. He holds onto the heal. Ice cold from Maritime. Robgob coming in through the lane, possibly for a dive. Fury does not want to back off, and we do see Sergio Ramos approaching. 3-man Nico ult hitting. The Eid comes through. This is why we picked the Tahm Kench. For Mango Bango to execute these saves onto the squishies. It was very well played from both sides. MonkeSports being able to contest the defend their turret for another wave. And again, no kills fall.
Yeah, that's for sure not what we expected. Especially when I saw the top lane with Ghost Ignite, I thought we would at least be on 5 kills. Minute 10.
For me, I'm expecting this game so far how it's going. There's going to be one break point. There's going to be one moment in this game, one team fight, one skirmish. That's going to break open this game. And we're going to end up with what we had in the first 2. I think both teams are rightfully so afraid to make mistakes in the game, in the series deciding game. But the moment that Band-Aid gets ripped off and they are unleashed, I think we will see what these teams are really about.
I mean, at some point, one of the teams will have to take a risk. Because, as you said, it's the last game of the series. So if you lose, you just go to the lower bracket. Of course, you're not eliminated yet. But if a team finds a good team fight, maybe 2 or 3 kills, the other team will have to adapt their playstyle.
Now we do see Kanelbullens getting the grubs uncontested. That puts them even and denies Olaf from having that massive turret damage power. The Drake is still 20 seconds away from spawning.
Yeah, it's the perfect timer for the grubs, to be honest. You haven't invested any ults or major cooldowns before. You just take the free grubs and now you are still able to contest the Drake.
If Kanelbullens get this Drake, this would create a massive cushion for them for the next 15 minutes at least. But I don't think MonkeSports is going to allow that.
But we have the TP on the Mundo.
We do have TP advantage in topside. Now, does the Mundo decide to give up a big chunk of his turret to help his team? I think it would be good. Now, Patarina does engage onto the Mundo, denying him the ability to TP. Mundo is forced to recall here. That's a flash from Marathon, staying alive. Mango Bango slowly disengaging, having to flash the root. Huey misses the Akali. And I think Kanelbullens is in a good position to start approaching this dragon again. They do want to take it slow, as Beehive is a decent trade in mid lane.
Mundo is taking the reset in the top lane, and I really hope he won't TP back on top lane.
Now, we see Jhin and Sivir. We see Jhin coming out of base with Swifties and Collector. As much as they are giving up the dragon right now, I'm kind of wanting to see Ivan dive this bot turret right now. He does pass towards top. And it's gonna stay calm. It's gonna stay calm on the Rift.
I don't like the call to give up Drake here. Because I think you can fight it. Of course, maybe it's a flip. But you will be 4v5. Mundo can TP, you might lose the tower. But if you get the Drake, and as you mentioned out before, you will get at least 10 to 15 minutes of a game you control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We have to consider we are in a game 3 here. I don't think, the nerves are... It seems like the nerves are getting to both sides. Neither team wants to make a mistake at any cost. And the tensions are rising.
Yeah, but that's my point. Also, MonkeSports have the pressure. So I don't think they would contest the 4v5.
I mean, at this point, I feel like when a game goes to this extent, when a series goes to this extreme, it comes to the veterancy and the experience of either side to handle situations like these with pressure like this. And we do have one side. Oh, I'm gonna chop myself here. The root coming through onto Sivir, flashing. All just opened. Second shot, the fourth shot is still there. Nicole coming through, flashing onto the Ivan, hitting both targets. Mango Bongo alive, Robcop eaten and saved. And neither team gives up a kill. We keep seeing these skirmishes that end up with everyone alive because no one is willing to go in and take the risk to gain an advantage. Which is exactly what I was about to say was, in a game 3 where the tension is so high, I'm expecting MonkeSports to be a bit calmer, as they are, as their name suggests, the veterans, and they have been playing competitive for much longer, I'm assuming, than Kanelbullens. But neither team is giving each other an inch right now.
While we are looking at top lane, do you think there will be a point in this game where Mundo just wins this lane? Or the side lane matchup?
I think on the side lane, this Mundo pick was never to be a side lane pick. I think the Olaf was a great pick from the side of MonkeSports, and I think even if Mundo gets a random pentakill, the Olaf pick in and of itself is so good into the Mundo on the side lane, he won't really be ever able to create a pressure against him. But that's not really where that strength comes from. I think if they can utilize it, Kanelbullens DAG will have a Mundo that will terrorize all 4 of the other members of MonkeSports.
Yeah, but I agree, but at some point you will need someone to face the Olaf on the side lane, probably. I don't think we will see 5-5 team fights too much, especially with how slow this game.
We do see a DAG coming through the knock-up, hits onto Sevia. She doesn't have flash this time, as the force shot hits onto Melio. The knock-up lands from Daisy. Swallow flashes in, securing the kill onto Melio, trading the kill. The kill does go to Melio though, instead of Fury onto Sevia. So we have a 1-1 Jin who picks up the gold. That's massive.
Do have the Tam Kench ult up. He was probably not in range, right?
Well, we did see they might have not been in the cleanest comms. We did see Svolo flash in for the dive, and Mango Bungo was maybe thinking he didn't want to go any deeper, as you know, this whole game has been trying to avoid making mistakes and instead of trying to punish the enemies. So I can definitely see why Mango Bungo didn't go in as deep as you might have expected to in game 1 and game 2.
Yeah, for sure, but I think it would be just a great play if you manage to take the kill and your Jin survives.
Oh, of course, of course. The action doesn't stop as Katarina is battering Mundo. And bot lane is going to be a 4v4 face-off. If they can manage to get the Mundo TP in here, they will have a temporary man advantage as the Nico ult lands on the Tahm Kench with Swallow being eaten. He's still alive. And Sergio Ramos goes down. Maritan also died. And this is a helpless situation for Katarina, who just arrived. Beehive getting attacked, has to flash away from Katarina. Swallow holding on to his force shot, getting a good chunk of damage on him, but Ivan can protect his ADC. That's the Jin ult opening up. Olaf sprinting in the backline, one-shotting what is left of the Jin. Flippy getting decent damage onto Robcob. Katarina can do work here. Clive stealing his way through this fight and turning what was a great success for Kanelbullen into a save on MonkeSports side. Neither team was able to take the Drake yet.
I still want to take a moment to point out the flank from the Akali on the fight before.
Was she the one that secured the Melio kill, I assume? Oh, we do see the Mundo go down to the Syndra ult. This might be giving over the dragon now to MonkeSports with one person dead. Olaf doesn't have TP though, and he does fit in top lane right now. Syndra TPing back. MonkeSports is halfway done with the dragon. Wooler walking in on his own. Beehive backing him up, gets hit by the ult, gets hit by Syndra, goes down. Tahm Kench was not there yet to eat him. Kali lands the E, goes in! Kills the Melio. Ivan flashing after. They are chasing MonkeSports through their jungle. Neither team is able to pick up this third Drake. As Katarina takes 1.5 top turrets with the Herald. He might be able to get the second one here as well. He will. That is a massive cash injection into the Olaf. We do see Monkey Esports pulling ahead with the gold that Olaf just earned. Yet this Mountain Drake seems to be untakeable, unapproachable. Neither team, as hard as they have tried, has been able to get this third Drake. And we have finally moved ADCs into mid lane.
Do you think any of those teams should trade the Atakan for the Drake?
We are looking at the Voracious Atakan again with the GA. Maybe, if it lasts long enough for the effect to still be up when Baron spawns, it might be a good trade. But it would take very precise execution from both teams. We do see Flippy picking up the kill onto Mango Bango on the Tahm Kench, which will probably enable Monkey Esports to finally get this third dragon. I think on the Atakan here, this Atakan will more or less be only a support to either team who will want to get Baron. Now we do see the Drake go over, but I'm not certain the Atakan will be taken before the next Drake spawns, as this game is being taken very slowly.
But honestly, I can imagine the Atakan as a chance to give you a window where you can play the game you want to play it, you know? Like you played it in game 1 and 2. Because you get like you basically get a GA, so you can take a bit more risk than you usually do in this game so far.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I mean, both teams are walking on thin ice here, and they are scared to make mistakes on both sides. Getting this GA Atakan could maybe loosen them up, soften comms, I don't know. In situations like these, it might be quite tense. We do see Mango Wango stepping up on the mid wave, getting rooted, followed up by Sejuroma's Nico ult, does get bursted. That is another kill going onto the Sevia. Well, a kill. We do see Monkey Esports veterans staying calm so far, and I'm not sure how much Kanelbullens can keep up.
Yeah, I think it's the most important part for Kanelbullens.
Flippy trying to flash onto a solo. It does dodge it though. The Gen ult opens up. Does not get a kill though.
As I tried to say, I think it's the most important part for Kanelbullens now to stay calm. I know it's not easy, for sure. But if you fall apart now, and if you panic, and try to get plays, no matter what, I think the veterans are just experienced enough, I would say, to deal with that, and to punish you for it.
I mean, they've been here before, right? This was game 1. They are slightly behind. They have a dragon. They're in a like, they can do it, right? I believe in these guys. As much as I say that, though, I am very impressed by this game 3 from especially Flippy right here, who has been performing clean on the Syndra. In all of these skirmishes and picks in the midways, he's been a vital part to the team. And if he can keep this up, and if he can find targets, maybe even after the Tahm Kench ult has gone through, to not be denied, can have a massive impact on this game. I mean, even the Olaf, Pazarina is, if we can maybe look at the gold, has created a massive lead, I think, and it's going to be hard for Kanelbullens to stop this guy.
Yeah, I also think Flippy is the one who benefits the most from the slower game, because when he lost his flash on mid lane in game 1 and 2, he would be just camped every single wave. There would be either Ivan or Tahm Kench on his lane, But the way Kanelbullens played, he was able to just wait for his flash to come back up and play his lane normally.
Yeah.
And he basically
We
took
have
the time
taken
to
the foot off the gas here. We do see Nico turning into a minion in midwave. Yeah, it does seem both teams have taken the foot off the gas again, and we are approaching it slowly. But there is a 3.5k gold lead on Monkey Esports side. We do see Dragon spawning in a minute. And as I said, it might be... This is Kanelbullens starting up the Artakan with all 5 members. There's vision on them. Now they know Monkey Esports is slowly approaching. Artakan goes down to 9k HP. Do they finish or do they turn? Beehive ults in onto the clone. That's TP from Mundo coming through. Olaf can't answer. This is a 4v5. They have to give. Olaf might get bot tier 2, but this is the ideal position for Kanelbullens to get Baron now. They decide to send Mundo and Akali to answer to Olaf though, which means no Baron for them, but a possible Dragon contest. As Beehive is bursting Patarina, can he finish him though? He does! Patarina dies for the tier 2 turret. Oh! Tedramas with the ult, hitting Jin, but Robcop dodges. Swallow is perfectly fine, picking up the beats. Withdrawal locking in from the Artakan. Tomkench goes back, is still safe. No one has technically died on the side of Kanelbullens. They still have the man advantage if they have some patience. There's another 20 seconds on Olaf without TP.
At this point, the DPS the CV is providing you compared to the Jin, you can definitely see that in the last fight.
Fury is putting in work. Now we do see the withdrawal coming in for Mango Bango. He is sent back to Fountain. And Olaf is making his way back onto the map. I think Kanelbullens is hoping for Beehive to get another pick, possibly onto Maritan. He does have the ult if he wants to go in. He decides not to.
I'm pretty sure that was the Nico.
Oh, was it? I am.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but I'm not 100% sure, but you know.
It is game 3 for me as well, so I am messing up a lot. We do see Huri and Maritan recalling one more time as they hope to make their way onto the map. And both teams are staring down this dragon. We are in the same position as we were 2 minutes ago and on the last dragon. Now Patarina walking alone, getting rooted, getting another root, has to ult to get out. That is no Olaf out ult, which is a massive cooldown, a massively important cooldown on Patarina that Monkey Esports loses. They cannot burst the Mundo here, which they are trying to chase. Sergion is coming through, Beehive with the Zhonya's. The Jin is still alive, Robgob is dead. They are lacking the ults, Akali gets chased down, Mundo gets chased down, Tahm Kench is getting chased down. That is 4 kills, 4-1 going to the side of Monkey Esports. They could possibly be looking for an end here. There is 25 seconds on Ivan and Jin is left alone. They have a cannon minion and a melee minion. They are looking for it. Patarina is tanking the turrets. Flash E from Flippy. Executing Swallow. This might be game. The cannon minion is alive.
Yeah, that should be game. And as pointed out earlier, I think it's
As
totally
Monkey
deserved.
Esports are hitting
Very
Nexus,
good
they
game
do
too.
finish the series and they do continue into the upper brackets. Yeah, sorry.
Don't worry, you're good. But as I said, I think for both of these teams, very well played, all 3 games. It was quite a ride with them.
A banger series for sure.
Yeah, and I personally really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you to both teams. This was a banger performance. I think this is going to go down. I mean, we have one more match to go, but this is going to go down as the most entertaining, at least, playoffs match so far in SNCL. I am confidently saying for now.
And as I'm reading in chat, finally one prediction is right. Yes.
Yes.
For the next prediction, we have to talk about with Linus, maybe.
It is.
But now that we have such a close series, who is your MVP, and also who is your MVP of the losing team?
The SVP, right? I think. Yeah. This is. I'm gonna have to think about this. I think if I had to give it to someone for these 3 games who consistently showed up for MonkeSports, I would probably have to give it. Oof. So right now I'm divided between Sergio Ramos, Flippy, and Huri, which I feel like have all had great games in this series.
I agree.
If it comes down to it, I think
for me, it comes down to Sergio Ramos and Huri. No disrespect or anything, but I think, yeah, they had just the biggest impact if you combine all 3 games. Because Sergio Ramos found very important flanks, and Huri looked pretty decent on all his AD carries, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. If I had to give it to someone, I think I'm gonna give it to Huri. The Nico ults were massive in both of the games that Sergio Ramos played Nico, but I feel like especially game 2, Huri was trying his best to keep up with the Kaiser, doing so more or less successfully. And I feel like in all of these 3 games, consistently, Huri has been performing.
Yeah, I would agree on that one. I would give it to Huri as well.
For Kanelbullens, it has to come down to. Oh, does it? You know what? I want to give.
You want to do your case?
I cannot decide. I cannot make up my mind.
Okay, then let me go first. Because for me, I don't want to say it's quite simple, because I think all of them played quite well. But giving game 2, I think Swolo carried this team harder than he should have done in game 2.
Yeah, I think Svula would deserve it.
Yeah, I will stand with my point that this draft shouldn't win, but it did, and I think Swolo had a huge impact on that. In game 1, his Twitch almost got them the win. I think the early and mid game was very good by him. So yeah, for me it's Swolo.
Yeah, well played to all the players on both teams. This was a great series. I would say we do crown Huri as the MVP. And like a small prize goes down to Swallow. They will continue in the lower bracket. And with that, do we have anything else to discuss?
I don't think so. So in case we get a stream on Sunday, we will see you back again then.
Yes.
Thank you to Highside and to Jin for the production. And of course, thank you everyone for watching, and we will be back soon.